Hi guys. So as you may have read my announcement earlier today, I decided to change our textbook to the Rosen one that's most widely used in discrete courses taught in colleges. So the reason for that is I took a look at some students' homework earlier today, and I realized that there were some common mistakes that students were making. And I went back to the original textbook and saw that it really wasn't explained clearly. So this could be a problem going forward, and this could be a continual problem, and it could only be fixed if I provide students with more accurate textbook, especially in this remote learning sessions. Okay, so to help you with the homework 2, I decided to make this homework 2 preview video, and we're going to go over some of the homework problems that will be due this Sunday. Okay, so let's start with number 3. What is the negation of each of these propositions? So negation means we have to flip the sentence. So let's start with A. May has an MP3 player. The negation of the sentence would be that May does not have an MP3 player. As simple as that. I'll leave the rest of the parts to you. Maybe we can do one more. We can do part C. So this is an algebraic equation. The negation of 2 plus 1 equals to 3 would just simply be 2 plus 1 is not equal to 3. So you would just write 2 plus 1 is not equal to 3, and that's it. This is a negated statement of the given algebraic statement. All right, so let's go to the next problem. Einstein 9. So P and Q statements are given, and your job is to turn these propositions into plain English sentences. So let's do a few. Let's do B. So as you guys have read in the original textbook, as well as the current one, this caret sign symbolizes the English word and this upside down cup, this one is or. So B is P and Q. So in plain English, it would be swimming at the New Jersey shore is allowed, and sharks have been spotted near the shore. So that's what you would write for B. Let me do one more. Let's try E. So for part E, not only we have to negate proposition Q, and this symbol is our inference symbol, which means this is if hypothesis, then our conclusion. So in English, part E would be, if sharks have not been spotted near the shore, then swimming at the New Jersey shore is allowed. So that's what you would write for E. For the rest of these problems, don't try to make it smooth. For some statements, it's not meant to be. It's probably not meant to sound smooth. For example, H, I can imagine the sentence is gonna sound weird, but it's just for practice. All right, so for 11, we're doing exactly the same thing, but the opposite. So statements are given. You just have to give us the propositions using P and Q. So let me do one. Let's do D. So it is either snowing or below freezing point. So or again is this symbol. Okay. So we have to do either snowing or below freezing point. So either it is snowing, that is Q. So it's Q, or below freezing point, that's P. And that's all you have to write for part D. All right, let's go to the next slide. So we're given 3 propositions this time, P, Q, and R, and you're doing the same thing as what we just did in our previous problem. So let's do E. All right, so let's read this. Getting an A on the final and doing every exercise in this book is sufficient for getting an A in this class. So in this case, we are looking at getting an A on the final. So that is P. So this part is P. And we have to connect this with the and. So I'm going to use that symbol. That's and. All right, and doing every exercise in this book. So doing every exercise in the book is the Q. And that is sufficient for getting A in this class. So as long as you do this, that's going to result in getting an A in this class. So these, I will accept most of the answers. The correct answer the textbook provides is this. They're going to use if and only if statement to get to R. Okay, so I'll write it clearly again. Okay, so this is accepted, and this is the correct answer that it provides, but I'll also accept this, because it also makes sense in plain language, that if you do this, do these things, if you get an A on the final exam and you do every exercise in the book, then you'll get an A in this class, right? But also, this also makes sense. If you get an A in this class, then you have received A on the final exam and you did every exercise in the book. So I guess since these two are correct, oops, I shouldn't read this. These two are the correct answers. This probably is the most accurate answer because, again, if you read the textbook, if it's if and only if this statement, this double arrow, then the one side has to make sense as well as the other way has to also make sense. So I guess the most correct answer is number 3, but if you also give me number 1 and 2, that would make sense too. Okay, so let's look at slide 6, 17. Determine whether each of these conditional statements is true or false. Okay. So let's do one of these. Let's do D. Okay. So, oops, back to. All right. So if monkeys can fly, then the statement. So we have this P. If P, then Q. And we have to determine what kind of, is it true or false for statement P. If monkeys can fly. So can monkeys fly? No. So this would be false. So if false, then 1 plus 1 equals to 3. Is that true? Is this false? So overall, I don't know if you watched the my video on homework, the review of homework 1. But I posted something that has to do with the true table. If you didn't, I think you can watch that afterwards. But let me go over the truth table one more time for those students who didn't watch it yet. And this is also covered in the textbook. So P can be true, and both statements can be true, or one of them can be false. Okay. So with given P and Q statements, let's talk about P. If P, then Q. So if true, then true. So overall, if these two cases are true, if P and Q are true, then this entire statement is going to be true. If P is true, but ends up being false, this is a faulty statement. We're working with something that is true, but somehow ending up our conclusion being false. So overall, this entire statement becomes false. Let's take a look at this. If false, then true. So this is a true statement because keep in mind that P is our hypothesis right now. So this is our hypothesis and this is our conclusion. So our hypothesis can be true, sometimes it's wrong, right? But it is really our conclusion that matters to us. So we may have started out with a faulty logic, but we ended up with the true statement. So overall, this entire statement is true for that reason. Okay, and lastly, if we're starting out with the faulty statement, faulty hypothesis, then it's pretty well expected that our conclusion is also going to be faulty. So for that reason, this is true. Okay, so again, that's why this statement, if false then false, refers to this. So that's why D, this conditional statement, is going to be true. All right, I'll leave you guys to do the rest of the parts, and let me go over to the next problem. Okay, so for 36, I think I asked you guys to do A through C. Let me just double check. So A through C. Okay, so let me do D. Okay, so we're going to go over D. So the truth table. To construct truth tables, if we only had two variables, we would do true, true, false, false. And the second variable will alternate true and F's, T and F's. But since we have P, Q, and R, since we have three variables, we're going to make three columns. So I'm going to start with P, Q, and R. And the way to do this is I'm going to do true, 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 false, 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 false. And for Q, it's going to be T, T. Okay, and lastly, R, this value is going to alternate. Okay. Okay, so first off, we have to do P and Q. So let's do this part first. So P and Q. So to do this, we're looking at the first two columns, and P and Q for this statement, we have to have both of these as a true value for it to be true. So these two, the first two rows are going to be true because they both hold T and T. If they don't, then it's going to be false. That's F, and also that's F, and likewise, they're all going to be false. All right, next one, we have to incorporate the R. So now we're looking at this column and our R column, and they're connected by another AND statement. So P and Q is also connected by our R statement. And again, if it's AND, then remember that both of these, the fourth column and third column has to have a true value for this to have a true. Okay, and they don't match, so this is F, another F, F. That's it. So your answer for D is going to be our last column, which looks like this. Okay, so I'm going to leave the rest of the problems. I think there are two more problems on 37, part D and E, I think, that I assigned. It's pretty similar, setting up the truth table. You guys would start out by creating columns for P, Q, and R. Follow this format and just give yourself a lot of practice time. And please do let me know if you guys need me to go over more practice problems creating these truth tables. Then I can make another video on that. All right, so that was our video for the preview of homework 2.